Back to the road to exploration, all in Kerbal Space Program 2. We have multiple launches today, starting off with Tonto 2. This mission is using the newly upgraded Lone Ranger 2 rocket, newly outfitted with 4 large SRBs. The purpose of this mission is to provide a way off the Mun for the poor Kerbals we left stranded there in the last episode. But before we get too far into the video, I must tell you only 3.3% of all of you are subscribed, so if you are enjoying these videos, it will help me get videos just like this straight into your subscription feed. And if you are really enjoying these videos, leave a comment for the sake of engagement, or even to tell me if I need to improve on anything to make these videos better. Now back to the mission. As you can see, we are nearly done with our gravity turn, which allows us to efficiently reach orbit. The main difference between the Tonto 1 and the Tonto 2 is almost entirely to the Lone Ranger launch vehicle. Starting with stage 1, there are 4 new SRBs that are present to lift the thrust weight ratio, and why we need to lift the thrust weight ratio is because there's a whole new stage just below the lander designed to help with the TMI, or the transmotor injection. The third new change, it was the removal of the fairing entirely, as the drag drawbacks from having no fairing versus the overall weight of the fairing was worth the trade. Plus, the fairing tool in this version is still so finicky, I was frustrated to include it anymore for this rocket. It just wouldn't work. We are now approaching the transmotor injection. This burn changes our velocity by over 750 meters per second. This raise in velocity causes the orbit to become more elliptical and eventually encounter the Mun. Now, we are going to be using 2 stages for this burn. The first stage that we just discarded, and we are going to be using the new stage that was just added for this mission. Now that we are finishing our burn, it is time for us to detach the lander from the re-entry stage and flip the re-entry stage around so that it can attach to the lander Apollo style. As Apollo style right now is kind of the easier for how I want to be doing things. This is an early space program after all. Here we are on our lunar capture or mooner capture burn, and that one takes us over 200 meters per second to put us in orbit of the Mun. And here I am trying to undock, but for some reason it's not undocking. I try even swinging it while trying to undock it. I try reloading it. I tried pretty much everything. I even did a couple of quick saves. Still nothing. They were not coming undocked. So much so that I didn't know what to do. I have now 2 Kerbals stranded on the Mun, and now I have 2 Kerbals stranded in orbit of the Mun, and they can't undock. At least they have a decently larger living space, but I have decided that we're just going to send them back to Kerbin. This is a somewhat failed mission. I mean, it still got to Mun orbit. That's pretty good, but it is not going to end like we wanted it to end. Oddly enough, I did have this problem when I played Kerbal Space Program 1. So this is a problem that has transcended versions of KSP, is weird issues with undocking. It actually utterly blows my mind. So as we re-enter the atmosphere, I tried to slow my velocity as much as possible by burning up all of the fuel in that stage. Now we are just quite literally tumbling through the atmosphere aimlessly, and I tried to burn the descent stage for the Mun, but it's not super efficient, and it's nowhere near the aerodynamic, like, blunt edge of this rocket, or not blunt edge, but the most aerodynamic point of this rocket. And so I'm trying to slow it down as much as possible, but it just didn't work. Here we have the Acton Pro riding on top of our rocket, the Death Trap 1, aka the most Kerbal rocket I've ever made. This rocket is for the Jool probe, and the reason the rocket looks like this is that we are nowhere near a transfer window to Jool. So of course I made a monstrosity to help us get there. The first stage is made of 21 mainsail engines and 4 kickback SRBs. This rocket's first few stages are so wildly inefficient, and honestly, I could have made a better rocket, but I wanted to do something fun after the failure of Tonto 2. The Acton probe that sits on top was named after Lauren Acton, a astronaut who ended up only flying one time, and that one time was on the Space Shuttle Challenger back in 1985. This rocket was truly massive. It really didn't make a whole lot of sense, and now that we're even on this stage, this is sped up at 10 times speed. This whole mission is. Look at how slowly the fuel's draining at 10 times speed. There's 5,000 meters per second for this stage, which is crazy. This rocket was way too big to even exist. It didn't make any sense, and I don't even have any sort of reaction wheels on board. So whenever I need to flip well, actually I do have a reaction wheel. It's up near the top, but I don't have large enough reaction wheels to actually flip this thing around in its current state. So whenever I need to actually flip it around for a burn, you'll see in a couple of minutes that I actually have to light the engines and have it slowly flip it around while lighting the engines. Thankfully, the thing is so massive that when I turn on the engines just a little bit, it doesn't do a whole lot of velocity change. But still, see, here it is. I flip it around like that, and there we go. Now, there we have our circularization, and I let go of that whole stage, which is crazy. Look at how long this rocket is. It doesn't make any sense. And there I have it lit, the engine lit, so that we can actually get our encounter with Jool. And here we go. And now we're firing towards Jool. Now, because of how large this rocket is, it took actually quite a while to even get it out there. And there we go. That's the next stage. Yeah, this rocket had way too much. And there's the encounter with Jool. So maybe we did have an actual encounter. Who knows? Well, on the bright side, we'll have plenty of fuel to explore the Julian system, and that will mean plenty of science for us. And maybe we even might land on some of this on like BOP or something. Yeah, maybe that's something that we'll do. Now we have SSS-1, or Space Station Supply 2, or I said 1, which will supply the Kerbals up in Newton Station with a way home, as well as plenty of snacks. The first stage is made of 2 kickback SRBs and a mainsail engine. The Kerbals on board are Tomsky Kerman, Lodsey Kerman, and Camley Kerman. This rocket does have an active launch escape system which can safely get our Kerbals to the ground if anything gets a little too crazy. But yeah, here we are, just slowly pitching for a very efficient gravity turn, probably a little too turny for the beginning there. But here we are, slowly but surely reaching our apoapsis, which will allow us to start our circularization burn. Here I am plotting the burn right now. This, the reason why we are launching in the middle of the night is because this was the first time that the space station would actually be above us, so it allows us to have a much more efficient time getting to the space station. And there we go. We are letting go of the final portion of our first stage. And here I am trying to make an encounter with the new encounter buttons. Yeah. So the new target and chip buttons are actually confused me a little bit, because it was just like the A1 and the A2, but I would also get confused by those. But this is actually much better than what we had before. It's actually kind of more like the older game in a way. Yep, there we are. I had an encounter there, but I seem to decided that I wanted to change that. And now we have a true encounter. And all I have to do is burn for 250 meters per second of delta V change, which is a delta in velocity, which means change in velocity. If you did not know, you probably did. But yes, here we are. We have now begun our encounter with Newton Station, and we will begin to dock with Newton Station. Here we are slowing down our speed so that we can approach Newton Station safely. And now we have slowed our velocity to 0.1 meters per second, and then I am going to quickly speed ourselves back up straight for Newton Station as I really throw all caution to the wind. Or I would say Lodzi Kerman throws all caution to the wind. Lodzi Kerman. We didn't do his psych eval when he did it. He just skipped past it. He said he didn't need it. But we kind of think he might have needed it. So I have this I'm going to direct the thing for it, and we're going to do the Lown Lazy method of docking, named after Matt Lown. And we are going to slow our velocity so we can actually do it. I'm going to target the docking port that is right there, and I'm going to have us approach the space station. Here we are coming close, and there's the bug that happened last time where it launches the space station off at literally kilometers per second in the other direction. So I did the cheat where it comes back, and there we go. We are going to dock just as the sun comes over the horizon, and there we go. Now our Kerbals are all reunited on board Newton Station. And we are back at a Kaba probe, and it is actually going to do its correction burn, as it is a good portion of the way to Duna already. So we're going to do a quick correction burn, which will, allow it to actually, intersect with Duna. And here we go. We went a little too far, so we have to turn around and actually fire the opposite direction. It is a slow rotation because that reaction wheel is not particularly strong. But that's okay. We're going to start with Curie Station on a Lone Ranger 1. So yeah, this space station is named after Mary Curie, a very famous Polish chemist. She actually has already a rocket engine named after her. It's Electron's Curie engine. It's their upper stage engine. And yeah, this station will be in orbit of the Mun. It'll be our Mun station. Now, I did not provide enough delta V for this thing to be, to actually, get to the Mun, which is a problem. But don't worry, it has plenty of fuel to get there. It's just all monopropellant. So, of course, we are going to execute multiple very, very, very slow burns at multiple times. And here is, one of our quick burns. But now we're going to do multiple very slow burns with just monopropellant. And this is, of course, the end of the first burn with the monopropellant. And it doesn't up our or Apple Waps very much. It's very, very, very slow. I probably sat here for maybe a good hour doing this mission, even though it's just a simple Mun mission. I sat maybe an hour just doing these burns. For instance, I watched multiple episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender while doing this. Like, it took forever. It was such a long time. And yeah, it was quite the pain. So here we are coming in for another orbit. And here I am. I'm going to try and raise our Ep6 again so that we can finally get our encounter. But I realized that, oh, yep, maybe we should have done that at a different time. So I made us go around the planet a couple more times just so we could get a better encounter. And here we are going to burn straight for the mun. And we will reach our encounter very soon. There we go. There's our encounter. And now we have finally made it to the mun. And now for our burn to slow ourselves down around the mun. Yeah. I can tell you right now, we are actually going to send out something in the next episode that's going to dock with Curie Station and actually bring it down to low lunar orbit, because it's kind of ridiculous having it that high up. It's actually going to have a really low lunar orbit, which is going to look really cool in the videos that we'll post, that I'm going to post, where it's going to be like right there, right above it. It's probably going to be at, I think, a max of like 10,000 meters. I think that the tallest mountain on the mun is like 8,000 or something like that. So it will literally scratch the surface of the mun, which is honestly, it's like, it'll just look so cool. And yeah, this is about it. I'm almost done for today. If you guys really enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for all of the views and all of the stuff for the last couple of weeks. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And if you made it to the end of this video, please comment something that let me know. Comment banana if you've made it this far. Please just comment banana. It'll let me know that you've made it this far. Oh yeah, and maybe you'll like one of my other videos from the list right here. There should be two, like right on screen right now. Yeah, maybe just click one. It'll be fun.